Doris Jones and Claire Haywood, could they have ever known what trails they blazed? With unbridled determination and outrageous audacity, they founded a school where Negro children could study and perform classical ballet. Or perhaps, maybe, they could foresee the future. 1941, we as a country were entering the Second World War, and segregation was the norm, particularly in a city like Washington, D.C. But they had a vision and turned it into a burning mission that forged a prima ballerina named Sandra Fortune.
I started dancing in 1961 when the school was called the Jones Haywood School of Ballet. Jones Haywood School of Ballet had when I came here. They started the business in 1941. However, at that time in Washington, D.C., that was the school of choice if you were an African American child.
Sandra Elizabeth Fortune was born on March 2nd, 1951, in Washington, D.C. to Elizabeth and Raymond Fortune. She was a precocious and outspoken 10-year-old with two younger brothers whom she loved to boss. Her mother felt the need to channel her boundless energy through dance, and in Doris Jones and Claire Haywood, Sandra met her match. Her first impression, who were these crazed women? But as time passed, they brought an order and aesthetic for life that she embraced and settled into. Home became 1200 Delafield Place, Northwest. At 15, she fell in love with dance through a ballet choreographed by Ms. Jones called Pocahontas, in which she took on the lead role. The two women saw something in Sandra Fortune that was special. They set the bar high and even higher when they made plans to enter her into the second international ballet competition in Moscow, Russia. Sylvester Campbell helped to instill a love of the art and aesthetic of classical dance in the budding ballerina, but also proved to be another demanding force in her life. Doris Jones and Claire Haywood ignited a passion in her. Sylvester drove home the artistry.
But it was Sandra Fortune who helped Doris and Claire realize their dream of producing a prima ballerina when she competed in the International Ballet Competition in Moscow.
She's well respected by the dance world, and I don't mean just in Washington. And she went to Russia. She was the first black ballerina to go to Russia at 19. And we admired her greatly because that was the trial. She went there for the Moscow competition. The best dancers all over the world. I mean, the very finest. And she did beautifully.
Sandra recalled preparation for Moscow, the most challenging of her career. The demands of the moment from Miss Jones and Haywood, along with Campbell, would have broken anyone else, but they were forging an object of grace, beauty, and most of all, steely determination. Those of us who were observers on the sidelines saw her fight through every moment, living the proverb, working through everything as though you cannot fail. And fail she did not, the first African American ever to compete in 1973, and the first American to ever place Fortune was astonishing. She remarked at how high the standards were for her at Jones Haywood. She felt compelled to do well and never give in to the demands of the art or her teachers. She faced each challenge placed in front of her. A return to the competition in Varna, Bulgaria, the challenges of each ballet classic such as Swan Lake, Sleeping Beauty, Le Corsaire, and Don Quixote, and in contemporary works by George Balanchine, Louis Johnson, George Faison, Chu Sang-go, Billy Wilson, Walter Raines, Sylvester Campbell, and Norman Walker.
The interesting thing about the dance is that parents seem to feel if they put their children in a ballet school, they'll get young ladies who look like ballet dancers. You can't look like a ballet dancer until you've worked like one.
She had a life outside of Jones Haywood and eventually married her high school sweetheart, Joseph Green, in 1975. They have one daughter, Kelly. She was affectionately known to relatives and friends and Miss Jones and Haywood as our pumpkin, and has an infectious sense of humor when not in production mode. Sandra Fortune survived a near-fatal aneurysm, crediting ballet with part of her recovery.
Do you see yourself as carrying on in her footsteps?
Well, actually, I do. Actually, I really do. I want to. I think the school should go on. Her legend, her dreams, and all of that should continue. And I think that I'm pretty familiar with what she wants, and I think I could do it. I think she wants me to, and I really want to do it because it's a part of Washington's history, and it should continue, and it will.
She is a ballerina of extraordinary caliber and has become the guardian of a legacy of excellence.
Dance is just the vehicle by which they're learning other things that they must know in their lives. It teaches them another sense of poise, grace, and how to be a little more feminine, I think. Sometimes I think about what did these two women have genetically, intellectually, emotionally, or spiritually in 1941 to have the tenacity to open up a ballet school when you had segregation laws still on the books. I hear Miss Haywood and Miss Jones's voice often, and I understand their words much better now. I'm still finding my own voice that's a combination of who they were as my teachers and who I am as the artistic director, and more importantly is who I am as a woman.
Can passion be taught? Perhaps not, but it can be inspired by great teachers. Sandra Fortune is compelled by this legacy to hold the standard up higher for herself and others. A 1974 article about Jones and Haywood stated, "Right now their eyes are on Sandra Fortune, who they hope will continue their school. The women see images of themselves. Certainly the two founders would be pleased to see that their vision for Sandra Fortune-Green has turned into reality."